Hello there, and welcome to the Right Click Save podcast. I'm your host, Calcio, and joining me today is Jimmy T. How you doing, Jimbo?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, we're getting a lot of content out there at the moment, which I'm really excited about. We just launched our new NFT Roundup show, which is weekly news, which I think people are enjoying. And yeah, if you guys watching want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is hit that like, that subscribe button, and leave us a comment and tell us what you liked.
Today's guest is an artist, photographer, and more importantly at the moment, founder of Whiskers. It's Rico. How you doing, mate?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on the podcast, you guys. How are you guys doing today?
Really good.
I'm good.
Yeah, gassed.
I'm a bit tired. We've got a lot going on with the podcast in a minute, but it's well worth it to be able to sit down with some of the nice upcoming projects we've spoken to. And the point we always start with guests is just getting straight to it. How did you actually start with NFTs? What was your entry point?
So I think that probably would have been, I think it was 2017. I got into crypto kitties a little bit. I thought they were really cool. So I was interested in crypto kitties, this one random project called Ether Tulips, and this other project that I can't remember the name of, but it was like a pixel art RPG game they were trying to build on the blockchain, which apparently is still being made. They didn't even abandon it, which is wild to me because I thought they did at some point. But yeah, I don't know. I had known about a bunch of crypto things before that. Had a friend in high school who tried to get me into like Bitcoin and stuff when it was like $6. And, you know, I feel like everyone has that story, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone also says that it's like, it's fine. It's not fine, but like, it's fine. But yeah, so I don't know. I was always kind of like aware of the space. So when I saw like some things going on with like NFTs and CryptoKitties, I was just thinking like, wow, these are so cool. And these cats, they're so cute. And then I was just like, I belong here. So I guess that's kind of how it all started a little bit from there.
Nice. So you're sort of proper NFT OG, really. Then, if you got getting into crypto kitties, absolutely. Did you invest a lot back then?
No. It was like very little. I think I had like 0.5 Bitcoin, which was maybe like, I don't know, like $300 or $600 or something at the time.
Nice.
I missed that 0.5.
Yeah. I bet. And what about, so CryptoKitties, did you buy a few or?
Yeah, I bought like a few. I actually didn't get too deep into it. I tried to, but like, it became too much for me. And I was just like, I am failing miserably at this. And so I don't know, I guess that was probably my first NFT kind of failure. I still have some of those CryptoKitties and I love them, but like I definitely did not make any money off them.
Where do you think you got serious on NFTs? When was that kind of transition from, hey, these CryptoKitties are cute to, okay, NFTs are going to be a big thing?
Probably either early 2020. Yeah, I think it would be early 2020. Yeah, I don't know. There was like a lot of like cool little projects coming out, and I think it was around the time Crypto Cubes by Han came out, if you're familiar with that. I thought that was such a cool project. It was like these 3D rendered like cube variations by this architectural guy. Really amazing stuff. So I got myself and I got my friend Vinny Hager from Letters, who's one of my closest friends. I got us to both like buy one, and he actually just did a piece referencing the original Crypto Cube that he had owned, like in collaboration with Han, which was really, really cool. So it was kind of really, really interesting to see that come full circle, just from us just kind of like hopping into space and thinking this stuff is cool and like trying to, you know, like buy our art, maybe like sell some art, and then it coming full circle to like working with the artists we kind of like looked up to at the beginning.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Super cool stuff to see that. But that was probably like kind of when I started getting into it. And I was probably one of the earlier people to start a photography collection too. Yeah. I had ran this Discord server called NFTPA, NFT Photographers Alliance. And we got like, it started from like a Twitter group chat I ran, and we got like all these photographers in who were starting to explore NFTs. We had some really cool people in there. Like I remember Justin Aversano was in there. Like this is pre-Twin Flames, and he had like just dropped his collection, and we were all like, oh, maybe like we should all start dropping collections. And I like dropped one a little bit after and stuff. And so it's really nice to see like some of that stuff get some recognition. You know, Twin Flames obviously being kind of like the premier photography collection right now.
Yeah. That's very cool. I wonder how many sort of major projects in the NFT space have actually started from a Twitter group. I think it's got to be quite a high percentage out there of projects that have started that way.
Yeah, there's still like a lot of them I see around. Yeah, like a lot of those artists are still really active in the space, which is awesome, first of all. But I don't know, it's definitely good to see some of those people kind of get the success that they've been working towards for a long time too, because they so totally deserve it. Like, you know, like it's just nice seeing another artist, I don't know, get their money, like do well, be able to put food on their plate, pay their rent, whatever. Like that's awesome. And then be able to like in turn support other artists.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think it's really nice though, because obviously one of the biggest things that come out of the NFT renaissance is the championing of artists, right? It's been a really good push for that. How is it for you with Vinny as well, though, seeing how well Letters has done? That must be quite nice in turn to have that really personal connection with someone who's really done a great job with an NFT project.
Yeah, it's like definitely great. I helped him out with the project. None of the art stuff, obviously, that's all his stuff. But like that was sort of our doubling down time. Like we had in the past, I had helped him like just put out, because I'm a little bit more tech savvy than he is. I had helped him put out some of like his other first works as NFTs and stuff. And when I remember like when we got our first sale, it was really, well, he got his first sale. I was like sitting in the room with him and we were like, no way, someone just paid like an ETH for this piece or like 0.4 or whatever it was. And we were both like, this is it. Like we could probably do something with this.
Nice.
And so like having worked on, like when we really doubled down was when Vinny was like, yo, let's, you know, I'm going to try and put out like this project. He was like, first it should be like 200 pieces and 500 pieces. And we were like, no, man, no, like 1,000 pieces. And he was like, he's like, all right, I'll do it. And he really just drew for like months straight, did not like leave his room at all.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was really great to see that kind of come full circle, and then that also be successful. You know, it was like a stressful like few months leading up to it and getting it all done, but it was like the good kind of stress where it's like we got this, we can do this. This is going to be phenomenal, you know?
That's awesome.
Why did you pivot then from those photography projects, from doing that style of it? You could have potentially done an art style project on a smaller scale. What was it that drew you to doing a full generative project with a larger volume?
It was probably like, you know, I think my first love really was drawing before, like, I'm a musician, photographer, film photographer, just an artist in general, I guess. I like to do 3D stuff too. But anyway, like, it all started with just drawing. I was like a little high school kid just drawing like graffiti all the time, like doodling characters, whatever. And I hadn't ever been into like character art, and I never thought I could like make my own kind of, I don't know, people or story, I guess. So I was just drawing one day and I was like, this was like post Letters, but I think this probably would have been last November, maybe, yeah, I think it must have been in November. And I was just doodling and I was like, you know, I had kind of gotten burnt out from photography for a little while. I had just been doing like too much had been going on in my life and I needed to take a big step back from it. And Letters was like a really good way for me to do that too, just putting my focus elsewhere, but I still wasn't fully recharged to dive back into photography. So I was like, all right, like I need to, you know, let's go back to where it started for me. So I started drawing again, and eventually like Whiskers came to be. I remember Klon from Cool Cats had this one YouTube video about it's literally called like Klon, and it's like creating layers like on NFTs or something like that. I don't know, but he like uses acronym to describe it. It's just him like creating a character and seeing how you could structure it for like a generative PFP project. And I was like, dude, like this is so cool. I watched that video. It's like a 50 or like 20-minute video. I don't know. I watched it like 5 times and I was like, I feel like I could do this. And I'm like, I feel like this would be so much fun. And it has been. So that's sort of like was my initial spur. I was like, yo, like I've been drawing, like I want to keep drawing. You know, I have a graphic design degree that I forget about all the time. Like I actually like I know how to do all this stuff. I just was like, all right, well, I'm going to do it. Like, it's going to be cool. Let's do it. And it's gotten, you know, I've had I guess like a good amount of success so far. And it's really humbling. A lot of people really like the art. And I'm just like, wow, you guys like my art?
Yeah.
Like, thanks. That's sick.
That's awesome. I think it's great to see like so many projects that have come out of like drawing, and as you said yourself, sort of doodling. We had Cool Man Dan on a few weeks ago, and he was the same. Like that's how he started his whole thing, from like just doodling in class and stuff. I remember getting told off in class so many times for doodling, and it would have been awesome to say, hey, you know what? In 10 years, I could be selling these for millions as part of a new generative NFT project.
I love it, man. I'm not a creative, so for me, it's really lovely to share stories with guys like yourself and Danny and things like that, and Vinny, and have those conversations where you get to learn a lot more about how just super creative you are. You know, you're not just an artist. You do your music, photography, videography. It's such a spectrum. When you've come to sort of settle on Whiskers now as well, have you found it a lot more rewarding to be able to just focus on one specific niche of your artistic portfolio and just be able to really concentrate on pushing through and getting loads done on one area?
Yeah, I definitely think it's been really nice to have that kind of focus. I sort of switch focuses. That's usually what I'll do. I'll like sprint for a while in one, take a break for a bit, and then go to another if I need to. But Whiskers like hasn't burned me out, even though it's been an enormous amount of work. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it's really nice to see kind of your ideas come to life and to see them like also received well by other people. But I also kind of like, I really like incorporating some other things that I do. Like I think it's really important if you're a multidisciplinary artist or you have different fields of art that you really like, being able to, or trying somehow to connect them all in some way, shape, or form. So I'm definitely trying to include little elements of my other works in Whiskers, or at the very least, like my inspirations for, I don't know, a lot of the fantasy setting and stuff, like things from my life or things that affected me.
That's really cool. And have you found that, because obviously you guys, your project has got a lot of sort of background story and lore built into it as well. Mm-hmm. Have you had a lot of fun kind of putting that together? Is that kind of new for you, doing that side of it?
Oh yeah, I absolutely love that. My mom's a writer, and I kind of always really enjoyed writing. I took like creative writing in class, and it was, I don't know, in high school, and I remember it being like one of my favorite things. I've always just kind of been pretty good at writing. So I remember I knew from the jump that I wanted to kind of like build a world with Whiskers, like a whole kind of thing, like D&D-esque or like nice. Lord of the Rings-esque. Maybe not on that scale, you know, but like
yeah, I don't
like but yeah, so I knew from the jump that I wanted to do something like that. And so I started throwing out initial ideas in my head, shot around with some friends, and ended up one night, you know, I got some inspiration for like the very first part of like the Whiskers lore, which I don't know if you guys have read, because I don't think it's public yet, but it will be. It's in the Whiskers server. I gotta let you guys in there so you can read it if you're not already in Absolutely. There. But yeah, I had like a marathon writing one night at like, it was like midnight, and I was like, I need to write this right now. And then it was like 4 hours later, and I had like 7 or 8 paragraphs or whatever, and I was like, this is the backstory.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw a video actually that someone had done, and you'd retweeted it from the official Whiskers page, where he'd like made a like 50-second clip. It's like explaining the different tribes and clans and things like that, and showing different variations of it. How does that feel for you though? And I know you touched on it briefly, as the artist, seeing people so gassed to actually just do anything with your work. They're so excited about the project. That must be quite overwhelming.
I absolutely love it though. Like it's I sort of want Whiskers, you know, I want the community to help the lore grow. At some point I want to incorporate aspects of things other people have created into like the general canon, like the true history of the world, or things that have really happened, or like all these stories, like this is a real story, like this actually happened, like there's been rumors about this monster existing, that maybe it's just something somebody drew, or you know what I mean? I really want to incorporate all of those things into the world. So it's like seeing people start creating things based off the sort of initial spark that I give them has been really super fulfilling. It's just like, yes, like Whiskers, like let's go team, like you guys like it too. I'm so glad.
Yeah. I think that's one of the main benefits I saw about the NFT space because I joined it as an animator. I came in and started doing some animations for a few collections, and people's reactions really got me gassed and motivated about being more involved in the NFT space in general. And that sucked me right down the rabbit hole. And I think it's great that what I found with NFTs is you've broken down barriers between your art and the people, your audience, and building these communities around it and being able to have this kind of one-on-one communication with people who are actually enjoying your art. And I think that's just so valuable for content creators. It's not just, the NFT space is not just about content creators getting paid. It's also about finding your audience and opening this whole new level of communication.
Absolutely. You know, I kind of, when I had first started my photography collection, a lot of collectors that had really liked my work, or like the few who had at the time, reached out to me and they're like, yo, I would love to hear the story behind this photo, or, you know, the story behind this collection. So I think that kickstarted it for me in my head, where I was like, you know, my photos have stories, like why shouldn't everything else, you know? Yeah. And I guess that's sort of, maybe subconsciously, that's a little bit where the Whiskers War started from, and why I was like, yo, like these things, these whiskers, these fish, these koi fish, catfish, carp varieties, they need a history. They need to exist in their own world. Whether that's, you know, our imagination or whatever, you know, if it's real in your head, it's real in real life.
Absolutely.
See, I love that, because one of the things I think we're really lacking in the space at the moment is creativity behind the projects. I think a lot of people launch X amount of 10,000, 8,800, 800, whatever, and they just go, there you go, and they just tag on the IP and say, have a good time. For me, I'm desperate for projects that are actually providing much more than that. You know, one of the biggest reasons that Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, all those sorts of things work so well is because as buyers in investors market, we're in love with the characters. I want a collection to do the same thing for me, and that's what got me excited about Whiskers when I started to learn that you had a lot of that coming. Because for me, I want to find something that I can feel really connected to, and so that as it grows, I can be like, oh shit, I own that one, and that guy's in this piece of the story. Have you got plans for there to be any sort of literature or anything like that around the project as well that would be provided long term?
Yeah, I also have kind of like, I don't want to leak like too much alpha, but I think probably the first plan is to, I don't know if you're familiar with the term brand style guide. In graphic design, it's basically just like, you know, this is your brand, like here are the rules you have to abide by for using our brand or your brand or whatever. I kind of want to make, actually I kind of already like half have it done, but the Whiskers style guide, and it won't be called that. I think I have a document called the Whiskers Enchiridion, which is sort of like a handbook or manual. And nice. And one, I just love that word. Two, it's sort of like just giving a very brief outline. You know, it has the Whiskers history, the regions of the world and what they're like. There's 5 regions in the world: Northern Mountains, Western Kingdom, Windrose City in the center, Southern Desert, and Eastern Forests. They all kind of have like different cultural influences and stuff. But I'm sort of trying to give like a general understanding of what the world is like and what isn't allowed in the world, sort of in the vein of like magic exists, what happens with it. Like you can decide what happens with it, kind of like that's sort of up to the interpreter or the reader, but like it does exist. You know, there's certain limitations for all things, and I just kind of wanted to list out those limitations because I think it's important to have some degree of limitations. I think limitations sort of foster creativity or breed inspiration in people, and it already kind of gives them like a straight sort of, it narrows their focus. So when you have a slightly narrower focus, it's easier to walk in that direction because you already know the direction you're going to go. So I definitely want to get that out there. And I also want to have a place for like people to submit lore, and for lore to be like the stories and all that to be easily visible to everyone. Those are kind of my immediate focuses, at least after I get the art done and like the actual I mean, like I'm working on those things now, but also I'm like, I don't know, I'm one guy. I have like a lot of help right now too, which is phenomenal. So I'm getting a lot of that stuff. Like I learned to delegate. Delegating is the best thing ever.
I need to learn that.
Oh my God, delegating, best thing ever.
Tell us more about your team then, because obviously you're at the centre. I love projects that put the artist at the focal point, but equally, as you said, you've got to have a lot of help, because even if you feel like you might be able to do something, ultimately you've got a set of responsibilities that you've got to fulfil. Who's helped you and who's actually on the team?
So we've got like a pretty solid. It started, I guess, from being just a bunch of the mods that I hired. I had a few friends who from the Letters server, a few friends in general that just started helping me out originally before the Whiskers was public. I think I had gotten up to, because I had been working on it a while, I had probably gotten up to like 50-ish people in there, just like chatting with them. I'd be like streaming and stuff and just talking, like just friends and, whatever, people helping contribute to my project or giving me ideas for things. So that was really, really a great initial spark. Now the team, I have a community manager who's been doing absolutely phenomenal, getting me collaborations and sort of handling a lot of the scheduling for that stuff, getting me on calls with people I want to talk to about things, which has been a lot of fun to do. Just, head to head talking one-on-one with other founders is really important thing, I think, especially when you're seeing if your brands or your projects or communities are kind of compatible.
Yeah.
So she's been great. I have a head mod. Her name's Champanini. She's been absolutely phenomenal. I had randomly met her in the Letters server. She became friends with one of my friends, and then we invited her in. I was going to make her a mod. Then I needed a head mod because things were expanding, and now she just does like everything. She's like the me when I'm not around, so I cannot be around, so I can make art.
Did work, yeah.
I have this, one of my other mods was originally someone who did a fan art. Her name is Moo. She's been really, really great. She's helping with the web the web design. She did this phenomenal design. I now have like a web dev too, working on the design she worked on. I've had like a lot of people, it's community members and like also those early friends in the server contribute art and just let us use it, kind of making up for my inability to like make other art outside of like the Whiskers art I'm already focusing on. I don't have like tons of time to do like the website assets or whatever, and so like people have been helping me with that. I just really like have like a super solid mod team. We have this one mod ISO who's like, he's just like an absolute detective. He sort of like keeps everyone in check, you know what I mean? So like we just got a lot of people helping on all sorts of different things, and really just like making sure I have the time to just make the project.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I just love the collaborations that are happening in the space. It's just how so many big projects have been so successful. Everything from even chatting to Toby Lasso about Vinnie Hager's Letters, and from what you've saying, and just so many other projects I could talk about that have really pulled resources from their communities, and it's really helped drive the project forwards. Even talking to people about the Bored Apes, like originally that's what people got excited about Bored Apes, because they had such a strong creative community early on, and it really sort of pushed them on. And obviously that was kind of the birthplace of people exploring the IP of their NFTs, and that's kind of what a lot of this sort of recent projects have come from. But that was it's exciting to me, this collaboration, and it's just what Web3 is all about.
Blocks is a project that you have recently just had a collaboration announced with as well. I know Vinny worked with Harvey as well. Have you spoken to Harvey much as well? Have you chatted much with him?
Yeah, I absolutely love that guy. He is phenomenal. So it's been really great to see him hit Blocks be successful. We're actually like, we have some cool plans in the future too. I love that guy. He was also one of the first in the Whiskers server. We chatted and stuff like pre-blocks and stuff. Really just like a great, genuine artist. I met him through Vinny. Vinny knows a lot of just great, genuine artists because he is one, I guess. So yeah, phenomenal there. Like I have a couple other collaborations that are like just with artist friends of mine too. Like it's really nice, I guess, just being able to work with your friends in some kind of way.
Yeah, we like Harvey a lot. We're going to be spending NFT NYC with him when we go up there, and I think we'll probably end up going for a beer or two before that as well.
Awesome.
I'm a big fan. Yeah. I do think it's fantastic though. Dead seriously, there is so much spectrum for artists to get shit done and just be able to do it and actually have the space to be able to take the time like you have to make something good. How do you feel about the space in general at the moment though? Obviously, we're in a small bear market as it happens, and they come and go. How are you feeling at the moment about launching Whiskers in the current state of the market?
I think the market's been, I guess, like a little wishy-washy lately. A lot of people crying like bear market. A lot of people, calling the bottom because a lot of people are calling bear market. Honestly, I'm not really too worried about it. I try not to look at the market too much anymore. Like I've been around for a while. I've seen things go down a lot. I've lost considerable sums of money in the past, but that's just like that's just rite of passage, I guess, you know. So like, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it, honestly. Like I think Whiskers will have a solid enough community that we've already really kind of built with enough people who just care about the project. So it's not necessarily about, you know, flipping it immediately. Although, you know, I'm sure some people will, and there's nothing wrong with that or anything like that. But I think a lot of the people we've attracted to Whiskers are just people who like genuinely kind of care and just want to be involved with it. And you don't necessarily need to own like one of the Whiskers NFTs to do that. But I mean, it's pretty sick being able to like, this is my Whisker and this is the stories. Like, you know, this is what he's been through. This is what she's been through. This is what they've been through, whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's what I often say about the state of the market. Like, people, first of all, need to zoom out a little bit and not be watching the intradays, the weekly, the monthly, and step back a little bit and just see how much growth we've had in the space over the last few months. And yeah, everything's not just going to constantly go up. And also, you need these little shakeouts a little bit to separate the people that are here to stay and are serious. And also, it's much easier if you're someone who's building within the space, like I think obviously that you are, and we've got things going on as well. It's nice to have this little lull periods where away from the distractions, where you can really get your head down and get a lot more work done. I find it's a lot easier for me in these little lull periods just to grind out the work and get things ticked off.
Yeah, I absolutely feel the same way. I feel like the market is like, it's like forging a sword. It's like every like strike of the hammer is like the market going down a little bit, but it's important to like make the sword, you know, nice, smooth, consistent, sharp, whatever. Like, I
like that. Get the extra folds in.
It's just part of the process. Yeah, exactly.
What is the Whiskers Alpha? Come on, there's got to be something you can tell us. A little something. I ask everyone who comes on. It's a little something that you can tell us that's not yet available to the wider world.
All right. Well, I'll tell you the collection size because it's still technically unreleased. Is that okay?
I'll take it.
Yeah,
okay? I'll take that for sure. 100%. Give it
All right. Whiskers is not a 10K project. Whiskers will be a 5,555 size project.
Nice.
Yes. I'm actually terrified of the other 37,000 Twitter followers I have coming after me because of that. But I think that's the right thing to do for Whiskers. I think that'll eventually get like enough of them in the right hands, you know.
Yeah, you want a good level of scarcity in there as well. And I think finding that, again, we talk to a lot of projects, and I think one of the hardest things for people is to work out the amount they're going to mint, what the mint price is, and how they're going to sort of organize their whitelist. And it's just a real difficult thing to get right for a project, and it's nice to see that people aren't just all doing big cash grabs that like 10,000, 20,000 projects, really high mint prices, and just trying to get as much money as they can. Instead, they're actually doing what's right for their project.
Well, I'm guessing this is 1,111 for each of the different regions. No. Maybe
for each of the regions.
Well,
no, not exactly like that, but that makes a lot of sense, and I hadn't thought about that. Maybe I thought about that subconsciously, and that's how I arrived at that number. Actually,
I'll take it.
But there are definite clear influences for each region, but I tried to leave them just open enough that you can sort of, you know, that Whisker could still be in that region, or you could just imagine them having left it in the past and going on their own adventures.
I love them, man. I think they're really interesting because why did you pick fish? Why fish? What was any reason, or was it just the way you created the cartoon, or the character just came I think that?
The first character I made was actually like some kind of dinosaur, and it was totally just like me trying to be original but ending up like biting like some other project, and just it was terrible. I was like, wow, this looks sick. Then I waited a day and I looked at it and I'm like, wow, this is not my drawing. Like And so I went through a bunch of iterations after that until I got to the first Whisker. I don't know how I kind of like harped on the idea of fish. I've always really kind of like koi fish in particular. I thought they were always sort of my favorite animal. I really like carps. There's this old Chinese, I believe it's Chinese mythology. It's about a carp that swims up a waterfall and becomes a dragon. And I always really like that. I think that's where Magikarp and Gyarados come from in Pokemon too, but I'm not sure. But I always really, really liked that. So that's sort of, plus they're just beautiful animals. And so that koi fish aspect sort of is where it started from, and then it expanded a little bit to like catfish and other carp varieties, or really like, you know, sky's the limit. But that's sort of where the fish came from, and then I don't know, it all started kind of like clicking in my head, and they're definitely easily mistaken for cats, especially because the name is Whiskers, and I get that, but I do really get that, but. Yeah, they are fish. The whiskers are kind of like the barbels, or like the, you know, like, I don't know if you ever seen like the face of a koi fish. They have those little like whiskers things.
The whiskery fish, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's sort of like those.
That's very cool. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing the whole collection and the variety in there. It should be cool. Now, one thing we do with all our guests at the end of all of our episodes is just throw some quick fire questions. They're mostly about trading. So the first question would be, what's your worst ever NFT trade been?
Oh God, NFT or crypto?
NFT.
Okay, so when Loot came out, I love Loot. I think it's a super, super cool project. There was also Extension Loot, right?
Right.
And Extension Loot had an initial run pretty high, like a couple ETH or something, and then it went down to literally zero that like same day, almost.
Oh, wow.
And so I was in there, and I was like, okay, I love this. This is so great. And then when Extension Loot sort of didn't really catch on, or like when it wasn't really going to be a part of the project like that, and then it was like, people were like, oh no. And so I managed to sell mine for a very considerable profit, and then I was looking at it, and then I was like, I can buy 2 more right now because the price is going down and it's going to go back up. That price did not go back up. It went from like, I lost like, I think like 3 ETH almost. And it went like from 3 to like 0.0003.
Oh,
and
wow.
I went, ooh. But I did sell one right before tax season ended. So tax harvesting. So that's nice. I can at least write that off, I guess, as a loss.
Yeah.
Someone saved me a little bit, but it was like I had like a 5-minute moment where I was like, oh no, like I need to get out, and then I did get out, and then I was like, I need to buy back in, and I was like, why did I do that? I was safe.
Yeah,
it was like the worst 30 minutes, man.
Yeah, we've all had those moments, man. We've all been there. All right, let's flip it positive. So, best ever trade?
Best ever trade. Oh my. Can it be like an in progress one?
Yeah. Why not?
So I think this was the beginning of like 2021, or maybe like the end of 2020. I got a bunch of NF trees from Loopify, who's building Treeverse right now, which I think is really, really phenomenal project. I really believe in Loopify's vision. He's just been around for a long time, and I just generally agree with most of his decisions and his approach to things. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy like these NF trees, and I bought 2 of them. And then I bought 1 more for 0.5 like a few days later or something.
Nice.
And I sold one for 3 ETH and got my first cool cat. And I'm still holding the other 2. And I could sell those and probably make a really good amount of money. But I also, like, I don't immediately need that money. And I also kind of want to bet that one day that those trees will be like 6 figures or more each.
Yeah.
Or like 7 figures or more each.
Nice.
So bullish on Treeverse.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to take a closer look at Treeverse. It's been on a blip on my radar for a little while. How about minting then? What's your rarest reveal that you've had from a mint?
Honestly, I think it was like the other day. I minted my Wonder Pals, and one of them was like a sushi, like nigiri one. And there was only like 6 of those, I think.
Nice.
And I was like, wow, like this is awesome. But then I was also like, I don't want to sell this right now. I really like this. So I'm just going to I just have this rare Wonder Pal. And I think it's super cute too.
Yeah.
If I ever do sell it, I'd probably just buy another Wonder Pal with it.
Yeah.
And then take the rest of the profits. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a cool project.
Big fan.
If you could send one project to 100 ETH floor, and not your own project.
Or letters. You can't send letters to 100 ETH.
I started saying it already.
Too easy.
I think it'll get there on its own, honestly. But one project, any project?
Any project.
Does it have to be a project that's out yet?
Not Whiskers.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, you can any project. Yeah, if it's not out yet, that's fine.
I think this would be hilarious. My friend Cosmo in the server is working on this cute project called Leaf NFT, and I think he's donating a lot of the money towards like charities regarding like
space for them tonight.
Trees and stuff. Oh yeah. Spaces with him tonight. With Cool Times and stuff. Yeah. He's a phenomenal dude. First of all, really just was literally the absolute first person in the Whiskers server. Also like he's writing his own contract, doing his own art, doing the dev work. He's really like he's doing at least as much work as I am, if not more, along with working a day job. So, you know, just a really good dude, and I would love to see his project just go absolutely nuts. And also, I think it would be hilarious because it's just leaves, and I would love that. They are so cute and like, but also so memeable and so like, so for like such a wholesome reason too. And it's just a wholesome dude making it. I just think that would be amazing. Nice. I'm definitely biased. I mean, he's a friend, but like, I think that would be so cool. If not Leafs, and that's LEEF. It would probably be maybe Cool Cats, or the the founder plots for Treeverse. I think would be really cool. Seeing 100 each floor, because that's kind of like digital property. That would literally be like buying a house.
Nice. Yeah, and you could buy a house with it. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Do you want the digital? Do you want the physical? Like, what do you want?
Yeah. Exactly. And the opposite question. So, if you had to delete one project, nobody loses any money, but if you had to delete one,
just completely delete it.
Yeah, that project
gone.
Never happened.
Finished.
Gone.
Ooh, this could be any project.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh God, that's hard. I don't know.
It's a controversial question.
That is a very controversial question. I'm trying to think. Can it be like a project I don't even know anything about?
Yeah. You can just randomly pick one out.
I got airdropped this one like Matic project, and I don't even remember what it's called right now. It's called Moonies NFT or something. And for some reason, I just hate looking at it. So like, I think I might have hidden it or something. But I don't know why. I was just angry when it came to me. They're kind of cute and they're kind of cool, but it just angered me.
Yeah.
I was like, you could have built some cool stuff. Just, get rid of Moonies, man. They're not helping anyone, I don't think.
I love it. No, that's awesome, man. Good answers. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man. Hearing about Whiskers, and I'm proper gassed now about the mint. Looking forward to it. So we'll definitely be looking to jump in on that one, I think.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, man.
My last question is to round us off in a minute or less. Ooh. Why should our listeners buy Whiskers?
I don't. Well, first of all, if you just like have the money and you're comfortable, like don't overinvest in NFTs or anything else. But I don't know, if you like kind of fantasy worlds, if you potentially want to help build it, I really would like to attract a lot of kind of builders or creators in whatever capacity. You don't even have to be a writer or be an artist. You could be a musician. You could be, you could just want to support other people with it. Trying to build like a really friendly community. I don't know, if you want to feel like you're really kind of part of a community, I would just love to have you. Big fantasy influences, D&D, like Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, even like Yu-Gi-Oh! And like Lord of the Rings, If you resonate with any of those things or played like any of those old games growing up, those RPGs, those JRPGs, whatever it was, Dragon Quest, like I could go on for hours about stuff like that. Like Xenogears, man. I don't care if you like it. Like, although Whiskers isn't really sci-fi or anything, if you like that stuff and you kind of want to get lost in a world that I hope is and will be built further out into something, really massive, then we would love to have you. I would love to have you. Come say hi.
Awesome.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I think that was one of the best answers to that question we've had, to be fair. I've been your host, Calcio, Jimmy T. Been a pleasure. And of course, Rico, it's been an absolute pleasure, Jen. Hope you all have a lovely afternoon. And thank you very much for your time.